Ukraine, obviously, that's on the news right now. Everyone's talking about that. But I wanted to get man's take on the way that the way that they're being viewed, the immigrants. I mean, the refugees, the way that they're being treated and viewed in the mainstream media. Like over here, British people are being incentivized with a £350 a month subsidiary from the government. That if they accept Ukraine, specifically Ukraine refugees, into their yard, they'll get that P, you get me? But as you see on the border, non-white Ukrainians or people that's in Ukraine that ain't Ukrainian, they're getting starved, you get me? So
before I even go any further, you're gonna have to break it down a little bit smaller for me, you get me? But the first thing I'm talking about with that £350 thing, last time I checked, tell me if I'm wrong, I saw that they were stopping people that look like me from coming out of the country.
Yeah.
Two things on that, yeah? If they're gonna give people £350, why we not included in that, yeah? Like, you can't take the black people, they're taking their people. Do you get me? I don't really, as bad as it sounds, I don't really care about their war. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's them versus them, right? But how are we in their war still being the victims in their war as well? You get me? Like, how are you gonna stop us from coming off we're not even there. And I know it's gonna sound bad, yeah? But more fool the black people for going over there in the first place. What are you going over there for? You get me? Like, bruv.
The reason I've given is that
what? It's cheaper or education?
Yeah. The medical student are talking on the news over here, giving out details.
Blood. I've lived here all my life. You know how hard it is being over here?
Yeah.
You think I'm going over there? With them who hate us worse? Bruv, there'll be 4 of them on your road and there could be 25 of us. Do you think they care? Bruv, that's all mad, fam. What was the other question? Cause that's all mad. But the £350,
like there's enough refugees in the world. I was reading the UN's website recently, and there's like 82 million or something displaced people in the world right now. But as I said, on British TV, there's been a big awareness about specifically the Ukrainian refugees. There's an importance.
Sorry, my brother, I couldn't hear nothing. When they started their war chants, I couldn't hear nothing, my brother.
There's an emphasis placed on Ukrainian refugees as opposed to any other refugee that's out there right now. Where the British government, there's UK charities that's raised 150 million in a week.
But no reparations for us.
For the Ukrainians, and the government matched 25 mil on top of it. And as I said, you get £350 if you're willing to host a Ukrainian refugees.
But no reparations from us.
Now you know nothing about no reparations.
Mad. You know what, yeah?
What do you think the reason is? That man's paying so much attention, or Ukrainian refugees are held in such high esteem?
For me personally, yeah, this is what I think, yeah. It may be freaking far out there, yeah, but I feel like they're gonna do the same thing they did with us, the same thing they did with like the Indians and that. They're gonna bring them over here, make them do the work, give them all the jobs. But we're gonna fall further down the pecking order. Do you get me? And it's gonna be worse for us. And they're giving them £350.
Oh yeah, and they've also wavered. They've changed the immigration rules specifically for Ukrainians, even if they haven't got no family ties over here, that they're allowed to come over here on a 12-month period, introductory period, and they're allowed to work as well.
That's, you see what I'm saying? But you know the madness about that, yeah? I'm seeing bare places like Walthamstow, bare new yards. I heard there's supposed to be 10,000 of them coming over here, innit?
I don't even know, fam.
I looked on I swear it's 10,000 or something.
It might all be more than that, bro.
Bruv, I know it's going to be more than that, but that is a madness. Brother, I'm not even going to lie to you, yeah? See, when it comes to the Ukraine people, yeah? I don't know if it's going on YouTube. I don't care. Not one piece. Our people, I care about us. I don't care about them, because as you can see, when we're in Ukraine, they don't care about us. We're not even in our own country. We can't even tell them about what's going on in Africa or whatever, not because it's, bruv, I'm going to get myself in trouble if I talk anymore, you know, fam. Hey, Russ.
Sally.
Jump in and I'll
talk about
Ukraine. Talk about Ukraine.
I've got nothing really to say. You covered everything. Yeah, it doesn't really take up much of my time, really, you know.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? All I will say is that for those nations who are black or African nations that are sending money over to the Ukraine. Somalia was recently bombed. I don't really see the same level of sympathy. Innocent civilians were bombed in Somalia recently. There's problems going on. We got our own problems going on in the Sudan, yeah, and also the Sudan and that region of Ethiopia in East Africa. We've got our own issues. So let's just focus on our own issues and focus on self, as opposed to other people's problems. Because these same people, who you're sending money to and being so benevolent with, rather than your own people, are the same people that are brutalizing our people in these regions and making them stranded in the country, not enabling them to leave, in a conflict that's got nothing to do with them, and still find time to be racist, yeah, and typically, in this time, still find the time. So even at war, these Muzungus are still oppressive towards our people. So let's deal with self progression, self development. Like in the words of the most honourable Marcus Messiah Garvey, up thy mighty race, for you can accomplish what you will.
All right then. Cool, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah. Roll.
Yeah. So in my view, it's like Jake, the great late, never late, Jacob Miller always said. It's like Russia and America come like Heckle and Blood Clot Jekyll. You understand? Heckle and Jekyll. Because if you want to look at, before the Bay of Pigs, back in the day, where they put trade embargoes on Cuba and it nearly started a supposed war because, Russia was going to set up, supposedly put missiles in Cuba. They didn't like it. The Americans never liked it because they said it would infringe on their sovereignty. So, now Russia is just like a deja vu, because it's really basically the same thing happening now, but, the other way around. So, as I said, Jacob Miller said, it's like Heckle and Jekyll. Yeah? Heckle and Blood Clot Jekyll. It's nothing to do with us, and we shouldn't get involved. We should just look at the implications it has for our people, like how they're treating black people in those regions, and do what we need to do to protect our global sovereignty at home and abroad.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, and I find it kind of amusing. Well, it's not amusing because it's a sad situation, but they're opening up, Europeans are opening up their houses. In the UK, they're saying, come Ukrainians, come over. People are opening up their doors. How many people are opening up their doors to the Somalians, civilians, who were bombed recently? Don't you think civilians and children were caught up in that? Are you opening up your house to Somalians and Sudanese people, yeah, that are going through so-called Arab oppression from the Emiratis and all of them type of thing? You're not doing that. So it's just double standards for me as usual, and let's just mind our own business and do what works for us.
But why do you think that man is opening the doors to the Ukrainians though?
Why do you think?
I'm asking why you think? Yeah.
Why do you think? Because as I said, Europeans look out for Europeans. Yeah, that's why Tony Martin, anybody I would say read Tony Martin's Race First. Yeah, when he talks about the philosophies of the most honourable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Do for self. You can't blame other nations for doing for themselves. We just need to do for ourselves. Stop begging and trying to be integrated into something that doesn't like us. Let's stop seeking acceptance from other people, and let's just do for self.
But them say racism done long time ago, and then a racist again. It's not a racist society.
You know better than that. I'm not even answering that. You know better than that.
Man have to play that, yeah. Because you know the arguments is what man's gonna get. Man have to be able to lick down any argument. You get me?
Well, as we know, as I said, yeah, I don't even say white supremacy no more. I say white terrorism, because think about this now. They tell everybody else about nuclear capabilities, but who's the only nation in the history of the nuclear capabilities of the world to ever drop a bomb?
Bombing.
Yeah, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and people still feel the effects. Yes. People still feeling the effects of those bombs that were dropped all those years ago. Yeah, when they in Ethiopia, where they dropped mustard gas on the Ethiopians and start the World War II from 1939 instead of 1934, when they invaded Ethiopia and take Africa out of the history books. we know that this has never stopped. There's nothing, as I said, I keep bringing up the McPherson report that was in 1999 by, he's not my sir, but William McPherson, who said not only the police force is institutional racism, but racism permeates all levels of society, and that's still true to this day.
I'm really impressed with these brothers because I see them up and down different locations, and it's always positive messages. You know, they've always got a warm, obviously I feel proud around them. And what it is as well, we're trying to get away from this notion of we don't understand ourselves and we're not respecting ourselves. But the thing is, there's not enough of us.
You're gonna change them.
But we need to keep going to the street. Keep going. Not the street, they're not getting happy. As you said, the multimedia thing, I love that. And the next thing is the courts. Oh gosh, the prisons. Remember, I work with the courts or whatever, so I do go to a lot of these prisons and see what's going on in there. And where do you work?